Hey everybody, welcome to Trading Capital's daily live stream of the market open. Today is currently April 27th, and as we kick off a new trading session, there's lots to discuss, lots of actions, lots of stocks gapping up, lots of stocks gapping down, mixed strength across the board. We also have economic data to digest, GDP coming in lower than expected. Finally, the Atlanta Fed came in right with their expectation, lowering it from 2% really at the start of April to 1%, and we actually saw GDP contract today. We also had initial job loss claims come in a little bit higher, so that's why yields and the dollar are spiking. Look at this. The dollar spiking and the yield spiking is very counterintuitive considering that the GDP data came in weaker than expected. Ultimately, a lot of people were expecting if economic conditions start to wane and deteriorate, that's where we'll see a Fed pivot, bond market pausing, but that's the opposite reaction we're getting. And why? Because core PCE prices came in way higher. PCE prices are a good way to measure the personal consumption expenditure, which track and really lead inflation. So if PCE is blowing expectations out of the water, the Fed and Powell is not going to like that. Therefore, yields have to go higher and stay higher for longer. All right, let's look at trade setups. Enough of that macro talk in the morning. Meta is on watch for a day trade short. Full disclosure, I'm swing shorting this one, but I'm looking at a 244, Pierce of 244 to short. Basically, Meta is coming up into some monthly resistance here. You can see Meta is challenging this pivot high. It's actually piercing through that. You're piercing the 50 monthly moving average, and you're coming into this bounce level. Meta does not have enough volume going into this sell candle. I mean, you're trading on this monthly candle a measly 353.65 million with 1 day left. Look at this bar you're into. Massive conditions. And then you look at this bar, also massive. And then even this little volume surge over here. I mean, we had roughly, what was that over there? Let me just pull up the volume profile on the monthly chart. We're talking about 452 million. So much more volume than what Meta is currently trading. So keep Meta on watch for a short. We are interested in Meta for a short. There's a few long plays that I'm looking at as well, which let me just pull up here. So Meta has pulled in from the highs. We're also looking at ALGN for a long and ABBV for a long. I'll type in those tickers. Just give me 1 second. I'm getting my charts a little more situated here. So, spiders will be gapping up. First level of resistance is this pivot high. We'll see if we can get through that. But I'm looking at ALGN for a long as well. ALGN for a long. Basically, ALGN is gapping lower after putting in this nice consolidation pattern. It is falling sharply of the 50 at 325, which you're actually piercing. The level I like on AGLN, you have a little bit of an interesting wedge pattern forming here. Maybe it'll flush down to the low end of the range, but I suspect because this was your breakout impulse bar, your retest which you held, this vicinity is going to be the level to buy on ALGN. And I actually have an isolated target down at basically anything below 320 we can start accumulating for a day trade. Now we have to remember that the markets faded off a significant high yesterday after that Microsoft gap up. So the big question is, will we see the same with Meta? Meta and tech is single-handedly lifting this market again. But I can't stress enough, the concentration in this market is just not healthy. Not healthy. ABBV also getting demolished for a large mega cap name, missing on earnings here. But we'll see how this stock reacts at the open. There is going to be a lot of support around the 152 area. Specifically, let me just see what this 151.84. 151.84. There's a lot of support there. And the nice thing is that you can actually see there's this 200 daily moving average. So I'm going to put that in on the chart. You have 200 moving average around 150.77, which is a nice area of support. And then even if you go to the larger term weekly time frame, look at that 50 weekly moving average sitting at 150.65. So basically we're going to start looking to accumulate below 152, to around a range of 150. So it's about a $2 range, but we'll see how it reacts inside that range, and that's kind of the levels I am looking for on ABBV. Okay. So I got quite a few windows that I'm looking. We also have PI, which is getting slaughtered. This is a little bit of a financial institution. I mean, look at this gap down from a 135 all the way down to 93. I mean, we're talking over 25% here. There's a gap fill down there. This is a little bit thinner name. I'm just putting it to your attention because it is a big move. It's a thinner name, so it often overshoots, so I can't really do as accurate calculations on it, but it doesn't trade enough volume for me. Maybe today it will. Maybe if it got really, really oversold, like if it flushed without a bounce all the way down to say 73 down this pivot, maybe I'll get interested on a long trade. Just trying to see if there's any monthly support, weekly support. So yeah, you're piercing that weekly 50 already. So you should get somewhat of a bounce, but again, I mean, it's a very weak name. Maybe you get a retest of this wide range breakout candle. That might be an interesting play around the 84.53 level if it were to flush down there. Tesla's under a little bit of pressure. Nvidia is strong today. Apple strong. Microsoft is under some pressure. And really Meta's the standout one. But we'll keep Meta on the radar because that's obviously the important market lifting stock right now. And we're looking at a short trade that's definitely on the radar. Sorry. So we'll keep Meta on watch. And the spiders on watch. And ALGN on watch. Natural gas has caught a little bit of a bid. Gold is getting slaughtered. So take a look at gold, because gold is telling us that the dollar is likely going to continue to rally. So 2 minutes to the open. I'm going to open this up for the gap. Why are you switching? So Wolfspeed's down about 12%, BTU, Peabody Energy's down 2, ICBT's down, Tau's up, Hertz is up, Harley Davidson up, Hasbro up, MCOR up, American Airlines up, Penta up, Crocs is down. That's another interesting one that I'll keep my eye on. Crocs is definitely intriguing. Markets are open, guys, so keep Meta on watch. ALGN is falling. Some more here. Meta's falling. The spiders are still pushing up here. Dollar's surging. Meta's coming in off the highs. Spiders are trying to hang in there. Meta's falling sharply from the highs. Nvidia's pushing up. Meta's coming down sharply. Dollar's surging up. UPS catching bid. Meta's coming in still. Now it's trying to push up. ALGN just missed our target. Let's take a look at ABBV. That one's actually hitting target here, guys. I'm going to go long ABBV. I'm going to start off with a lighter share size here. I'm not filled yet. I want to see if we can get one more little flush. One more little flush. Alright guys, I'm going long ABBV here. I just got filled at 150. Sorry, I just got filled. Let me just take a look at that again. My thing's acting a little slow right now. I got filled at 151.14. 151.14. So basically there, we're starting a position on ABBV. Meta's rolling off the highs. So ABBV is coming back down some more. Meta's rolling off the cliff now. Meta is seeing some weakness and rolling off of a cliff. Spiders are trying to hang in there right now at this moment in time. Dollar's softening a little bit, pulling off of the highs. ABBV is still struggling here. Nvidia is pulling off of the highs, so is Microsoft. So ABBV is coming back down some more, guys. I am going to add around the 149 level. If we get a pierce of 149, I will add to. And then the next level after that is 148.08. Alright, ABBV is getting a bounce here, guys. Keep Crocs on your radar as well. That one's coming in nicely. Spiders are starting to see some weakness. So I like Crocs around a hit of the pierce of 127. 127 pierce on Crocs. I will go long. ABBV is still struggling here, but seeing some buyers. Meta's coming in off that high. Weakness in the semis now, so markets are starting to roll over a little bit, guys. Markets are starting to roll over a little bit. Crocs is coming down, so keep Crocs on your radar as well. Pierce of 127, guys. Pierce of 127. I will go long Crocs. So keep Crocs on that radar. Meta's trying to push back up. Nvidia, Apple's remaining very strong. ABBV's trying to bounce here, guys. So we're now in the money on ABBV. I'm still looking at Crocs. Nvidia's starting to roll over, which is putting pressure on the Qs. Russell's starting to roll over. I think we can get a buck out of ABBV. Let's see if we can get a push to 152. If we can get a candle close above. Here it comes, guys. Here it comes. Oh, one more little push up and we can. I'm looking at this ALGN around 316.81. We're almost there. We're almost there on ALGN. Caterpillar's had a pretty big bounce. Meta's still coming in. Apple's holding up this market today. Apple's acting extremely well. You have Amazon up 2.89. Tesla's positive. Mobileye's down 21. Obviously the sympathy plays like Snap are acting well because of Meta. But Meta's pulled off of that 240 level pretty sharply. Alright guys, I'm going to look to pull one more little pop on ABBV and I will look to, come on, let's see if we can get. Alright guys, I am out of ABBV at 152.50, 152.50. Boom. That is a big, big win there on ABBV. Nice job. Look at that. All right, let's go back in ALGN. Let's look at this stock because this is hitting support. I am probably going to go long here, ALGN. I'll let you know if I get filled. I want to see if we can get one more little dip. One more little dip. But that was a big pop on ABBV. I don't even know my profit yet. I'll have to calculate it after, but let's see if we can get a final little flush. Pierce that 317 level. I will go long ALGN. Even at this level is very intriguing. Crocs is also coming down. All right, guys, I'm going long ALGN here. I just picked up some shares at 316.36. 316.36. It's a 1/6 position. 1/6 position. All right, we're falling lower here. 316.36. Next ad level will be around 312.76. 312.76. All right, we're flushing some more, guys. We're flushing some more. I'll let you know if I get filled. I'm not filled yet. Spiders are pushing up now. Crocs is into a level. I'm going to go long Crocs as well. CROX. I'm just trying to... Alright guys, I just picked up some Crocs here. CROX. I got filled at 126.34. 126.34. Starter position on Crocs. ALGN's getting a small little bounce. So starter position on Crocs. And we'll manage this ALGN. It's getting a little bit of a bounce. Never got a second fill in ALGN, but I did get filled on Crocs. Crocs is coming down some more. Meta's pushing up to that next short level, guys. So Meta's pushing up 244. I like Meta for a short. Next ad level on Crocs is going to be $121.44. Crocs is falling now lower. ALGN is also falling. So I'll add to Crocs around 120. Oh, Crocs, I'm going to add to my Crocs here, guys. I just added to Crocs here. I'll let you know what I got filled at 123.64. 123.64. This is a lighter volume stock. ALGN is also coming down. ALGN is also coming down. So now my average on Crocs is 124.99. 124.99. Basically around there. Let's look at this ALGN. I'm about to add to ALGN as well. Alright guys, I just added to my ALGN here at 312. 312. Crocs is still trying to come down here some more. ALGN's coming down some more. ALGN average right now is 316.55. 316.55. So we're out of the money on this one. 124.99 on Crocs. Next add level on Crocs is around the 121 Pierce. ALGN still coming lower, guys. So we're now piercing this support zone here. That's not the best sign for ALGN. Next add level will be right in this pivot zone here. 307.72. So Crocs is still just hovering in there. ALGN is trying to get a small little bounce. So far, no significant bounce on ALGN. Markets are coming down a little bit more now. Spiders are falling a little bit more here. So is ALGN, so is Crocs. Next add level on Crocs, now down 17, is this 121.45 level. But it's down 17%, Crocs. That's incredible. UPS is starting to uptick nicely. Gold is still weakening. The dollar is still trying to push up. Small bounce coming in ALGN. Still just waiting on Crocs here, guys. Spiders, Nvidia ripping and falling. Wow. Wow. Markets are falling sharply here, guys. Markets are falling sharply. Nvidia's reversed. Look at these reversals on some of these stocks. Whew. Wow. Wow. This is crazy. Microsoft's holding up. Apple's holding up, but the semis are getting murked. SMH, Micron. Wow. All right, let's flip back to Crocs because that's coming into our next level. ALGN is still just hovering. Down 12. We are out of the money on ALGN. Next add level was this 307.70. Moving pretty quick. And the reason some of these levels are overshooting is because they are a little bit lighter volume at this point in time. So lighter volume does have a tendency to overshoot. Crocs is also trying to look like it may hit the 100 daily moving average, which is sitting at around 119.14. 119.14. Markets are trying to push back up now. ABBV is coming down again, so I might be intrigued playing ABBV again around the 148 level. 148. All right, guys, just make sure you're paying attention to Crocs because that's coming back down. I just got filled on Crocs at 121.45. That's a 3-6 position. My new average on Crocs is sitting at 123.81. 123.80. Next add level on Crocs is 119.14. 119.14 here. Crocs is coming down some more now, guys. And this is the light volume overshoot that is dangerous in some of these names. Gold is still selling, natural gas, ABBV is still coming down, guys, so keep ABBV on your radar. The line is trying to catch a bounce. Crocs is coming up into the next level here, guys. We'll see if we can get a bounce at some point in Crocs. You're having a massive move to the downside. And here comes the bounce, a little bit of a bounce. Microsoft is making a new high, new 52-week high. Just incredible strength in some of these mega caps. Yet again, capital is rotating. IWM is showing some weakness. ABBV is coming back down again, guys. Meta's trying to push up. See if we can get a bounce up to the upside on Crocs. We're going to look for about $1 or $2 on Crocs. ABBV is almost at the next hit level, but it is bouncing right before that daily 200 moving average. Tesla's catching a nice bit. Microsoft is ripping. Microsoft is ripping. Wow. Massive move on Microsoft. Meta's trying to push up. We're still just waiting on this ALGN as well. That's trying to catch a small little bid. Never got quite down to my next level. Crocs is still acting weak right now. Crocs is catching a minor little bounce here. Very, very minor. Alright, ALGN is pushing up. Crocs is also pushing up here, guys. Let's see what type of price action we can get. Crocs is pushing up. Nice little tail candle forming on ALGN. Meta's starting to push up. UPS is soaring. NVIDIA is still reversing. I think we can look for about $1 on Crocs. About $1. Meta's pushing up, so I'm still interested in a short on Meta. Mobileye's down 24%. Amazon's up a couple. Meta's still up 15% on the session. NVIDIA is still acting weak right now. So NVIDIA is weighing in on the tech sector, but Microsoft's insulating the sell coming in NVIDIA. So a little bit of a 5-minute tail candle on Crocs. Let's see if we can push back up. I think we can at least get over 125 and then make our way back up to 127. 127 should be a good retrace on CROX. ABBV, keep ABBV on the radar again. So ABBV is into that next bout of technical support. If it can get a pierce below 140, if it can pierce the 148 level into 147, I may go long. But we got a couple trades that we need to manage first off. Crocs almost went back to the break-even side. We're seeing ALGN trying to push up. Spiders are getting rejected at resistance. Crocs is trying to push up here, guys. Crocs is trying to push up. This is a fast mover, so definitely be ready. Definitely be ready on Crocs. Spiders, dollar softening a little bit. ABBV is piercing that 148 level. I want it lower now. ABBV is down 8.36%. That is a massive, massive decline. All right, Crocs is pushing up. Let's see if we can get a retrace all the way back up to 127. It'll start by reclaiming. All right, we're flat on Crocs here. We're flat on Crocs, in the money slightly. Keep pushing. This thing overshot to the downside because it's lighter volume, and typically that's what happens. Markets are trying to push up here. Still just waiting on Crocs. Microsoft new 52-week highs, so Microsoft is insulating this market from any sort of sell-off. It is lifting this market along with Apple, and a lot of selling is taking place in Nvidia. So it's interesting to see that rotation of capital. All right, guys, let's see if we can recapture that 125 on Crocs. Let's see. Come on. Come on, Crocs. Let's see if we can recapture that 125. If we recapture 125, it looks likely we can go to 127. ALGN's catching a bounce. Spiders are pushing up. Here we go. Let's see if we can get one more little push on Crocs. Come on. Spiders pushing up. Big push on the Spiders. New high out in the intraday action. ALGN is starting to push up. One more push on Crocs. Come on. We're almost at that 125 level. It's looking likely we should get there. Spiders are continuing to push, but they're about to approach resistance. New 52-week highs on Microsoft. Incredible strength. All right, guys, I'm out of Crocs at 125. 125. Boom. I am out of Crocs at 125. That is a nice little gain of about, what did we get here? $1.16 per share. I had about 250 shares. Look at this ALGN. It's starting to uptick now. Let's see if we can get back in the money on Crocs. Spiders are at the highs of the session. Let's see if ALGN can keep pushing up. Nvidia is still coming down. Microsoft's coming down. Microsoft's actually a short at this level again. Microsoft is making new 52-week highs. And I'm going to pull off some Microsoft short here. Let me just find my chart here. Spiders are pushing up some more. Spiders are pushing up some more. All right, guys, I just shorted Microsoft here at 300.9. 300.9. Actually, I got filled at 300.92. ALGN's pushing up. We're now in the money on ALGN. That's good to see. I want more, though. I want more on ALGN. I think we can get more. Let's take a look at Crocs. That pulled in. Seemed to be a decent sell level at this point in time. So Microsoft is pulling in here, guys. I got filled at 300.92. ALGN still pushing up, guys. It's still pushing up. Big push on Microsoft. The next short level on Microsoft is 301.71. 301.71. All right, I'm pulling some ALGN profits here. I'm going to scale out half the position. It's a 3-6 position, so I'm scaling out half the position here at 318. Beautiful little profit there. I scaled some out at 318 on ALGN. And I'm actually comfortable holding this one as a swing trade. That was a nice little gain on ALGN of $1.43. $1.43. Microsoft is pulled off of that level. Microsoft has pulled off of that level. Meta's pulling off of the level as well. Take a look at Microsoft. All right, let's see if we can see these markets roll over. Based off of the weakness in the semis, I think it's likely we can see another fade come into this market. I mean, the weakness in Nvidia is pretty scary, I would say. So nice few winners. We're basically 3 for 3 in the morning today on ABBV. Wow, take a look at that ABBV, ABBV. That was an epic bounce off that level. So anyone that took that, nice job. We didn't. We obviously took it the first round off of this little initial bounce, but definitely interesting. And look at Nvidia in the semis. I mean, this comes on the, look at that sell-off. That's an algo sell. That is just trap the people, the late day chasers, and boom, demolish them. It's now down 1%. And then if you look at like the SMH, it's also showing incredible weakness. Micron is showing incredible weakness. AMD, so this is coming on the back of Samsung reporting horrific earnings for Micron. And it's really hitting this semi. You're seeing tech showing relative weakness now. Meta's falling. Meta is falling. The Qs are showing weakness now. So after the Qs gapping up, will we see the Qs kind of roll over like the spiders did? Healthcare is under some pressure today. Healthcare is under pressure. Spiders are rolling over a little bit here. Tesla's rolling over. Microsoft is still hovering and acting well. So is Apple, but it is pulling off the highs. So we have some data coming out here in 1 minute. Pending home sales. It could spike yields. It could drop the dollar. It could rise. It cause the dollar to shoot up. So my next ad level on Microsoft is around 301.70. Microsoft is flushing a little bit more now, guys. Microsoft's flushing. Pending home sales should be out momentarily. Spiders are catching a bid, but tech is flushing. Tech is flushing. Microsoft's falling. I want a little bit more on Microsoft. I think it's so extended at this point. Pending home sales, a big miss, minus 5.2%. Big miss. Hasn't really reacted to the dollar, but now stocks may take this as a positive, but it's really a negative in my opinion. But it hasn't spiked yields. It's softening the dollar a little bit here, just a tiny bit. So pending home sales came in weaker than expected. Meta's trying to push up. Microsoft's still acting a little bit weaker here. Still seeing FRC's up 15%. That's interesting. Google's up 1.6. Series down. Nvidia's down 1%. Crocs is starting to roll over a little bit. Meta's still hovering at the highs, holding up very well. Meta is holding up well. So the spiders are at resistance right now. The big question is, can they start to push through and make a new little charge higher? It's the big question. Microsoft's still coming in, guys. Definitely more weakness in tech today. It's kind of interesting to note. Coinbase just went negative. So Coinbase and crypto stocks are going negative. Netflix is under pressure today. That's interesting to see. Definitely interesting to see Netflix struggling. Microsoft's pushing back up. Nvidia's still struggling. Tesla's turning positive here. What's this HEL stock? Helen of Troy. I know this was a heavily shorted name. Wow. So bank stocks are acting well today. Qs are getting another little push up. That's definitely because of Apple and Microsoft alone. 100% because of Apple and Microsoft alone. Dixie's trying to push up a little bit more. You have SoFi up 7. Mobileye still down quite substantially. So just the 3 traders in, and I'm still holding half of that ALGN. I actually like it. Full disclosure, I am swinging this as a swing trade. Microsoft's piercing that level, guys. I'm going to add to Microsoft a little bit higher. Markets are definitely finding some resistance here, guys. I do have another level on Crocs to go along. It's around the 121.44 level, 121.44. Nvidia's still struggling here. Coca-Cola is struggling as well. Coke's actually interesting. It's coming up to a gap fill. We maybe have a long on Coke. Let me just isolate down the level. A Pierce of 63 on Coke. So we can go long on KO. Long on KO. At a Pierce of 63. Let me just pull that up on my other screen here. Alright guys, we're going to go a long Coke at a Pierce of 63, guys. Let me just do one more little quick calculation. So Coke is getting a small little bounce ahead of our level. MSFT is still struggling. Let's take a look at the spiders. Spiders are still trying to break over this key resistance trend line. QQQ, they're hovering there still. Caterpillar's also extremely weak today off of that economic data. Healthcare's still under a lot of pressure today. Healthcare stocks are certainly lagging. That's because of ABBV catching a big sell-off. So we're in the money slightly on Coca-Cola or Microsoft. I think I can look for at least a pullback to this previous pivot high. So we're talking about a move to about, that would be about a 0.5% move, $1.50. I'm still interested in Coca-Cola for a long. Keep Coke on your radar. Also may be interested in playing Crocs round 2. Crocs is coming back down as well. Let me just erase all these trend lines. So basically the new level on Crocs, you have this nice little gap fill down here that still needs to be filled. But around 119. And you'll have some additional support at these pivots around 115. Microsoft is pulling in nicely, guys. Apple's still holding up. So without Apple breaking down and Microsoft holding up, it's going to be very difficult for these markets to sell down more. Crocs is coming back down, so I am interested. Microsoft's pushing up, Tesla's pushing up, Meta's trying to push up again. Coke is still acting weak. Spiders are pushing up. Microsoft's pushing up again. Next ad level for Microsoft is at 301.71 and then 302.31. Let's take a look at the Dow because I know that was weak. I know it did get a bounce today. Transports are getting a bounce. UPS is getting a bounce. ENPH is getting a bounce. We took profits off of that. Swing trading. CGC is getting a little bounce. Spiders are pushing up. So markets are still holding up very well here. Interesting to see yields are still pushing up despite that weak data. Microsoft is hitting that next ad level, guys. Get ready to add to Microsoft. Microsoft is pushing up again. Oh, just missed that. You can see there's a little bit of a sell pressure coming in right at that level for Microsoft. But markets are still trying to push up here. They are certainly still trying. So never got filled on another position of Microsoft. Nvidia is still remaining weak. Coke is getting a decent bounce off of that level. Alright, Crocs is now off the table, guys, because it's hovering too long. It's putting in consolidation. So that level is no longer valid. only the level along that I would take is right around. Let me just look on the weekly chart here for a better perspective. That was the level. If Crocs were to flush into 116.63 in the next, say, 20 minutes, then we can go long. But really, I'm not wanting to touch this name at this point in time because it's hovering there. Microsoft's pulling in. So Microsoft's pulling in a little bit. Spiders are still holding up. Nat gas is rolling over now. It's now almost back to the negative side. China stocks are holding most of their gains. Banks are still under pressure. So Wells Fargo's under pressure this morning, almost gapping up and giving all of its gains. JPM's still positive, so that's obviously a leader, but just hanging on. Let's do a quick check of the KRE. We'll keep Microsoft here because Coca-Cola levels off the table as well. That's bounced too tremendously. KRE is off of the highs, but still acting well. It's up over 1.26%. There's clear distribution happening here at the highs of the spider chart, but doesn't mean the pattern can't hold up and push higher if we consolidate. Microsoft keeps getting rejected at that level, which is telling me there's definitely sellers lurking on Microsoft. And even with the strength in the Qs, you're not seeing any capital rotation into the semis, which should be a slight negative. Caterpillar's trying to catch a bid. Meta's still just hovering. Copper's trying to catch a small little bounce. McDonald's is pushing up. Alright, looks like Microsoft's going to finally attack that level and get through. Alright guys, get ready. 4 cents away on Microsoft. Spiders just had a big push to the upside. 301.74. I just got filled. 301.74 on Microsoft. That is a 2-6 position. But big push on the S&P. My average on MSFT is this 301.27. 301.27. Next ad level on Microsoft is all the way up here at 302.30. Nvidia is now catching a bid. Q's just made a new intraday high. They are pushing up and tagging the 20 daily moving average. So Q's are getting a massive push to the upside. This rally is looking pretty extreme and sharp at this point in time. We'll see. The big thing is, can it hold up? Can this rally hold up? Banks are catching a nice bid. The dollar's definitely softened, which is why the markets are acting so well right now. Look at that big rejection on Microsoft. Wow. Jeez. There's definitely big players unloading. So I'd be cautious buying Microsoft here. You know, it's trading at an over 30 times multiple. On a fundamental basis, I mean, for that size of a company, it makes absolutely no sense, but it is what it is. That's the price action at this point in time. Massive move on the spiders. The spiders are just continuing to push. Take a look at this. Spiders are pushing up huge here. QQQ is also pushing up. coming up into a big resistance zone here on the Qs. We'll see if it wants to hit that level. Microsoft still up to over 2.15%. Apple just made a new high, busting through. No stopping these mega cap techs. No stopping them. Wow. Crazy move. That's for sure. It's interesting to see how tech is pushing up so well here. Take a look at Meta now. Meta's also pushing up. Meta's starting to push up. So we're still just waiting on Microsoft. Microsoft, we're now in the money. The dollar looks like it wants to try to catch another minor bid. Oil's putting in a potential intraday high. We'll see if it starts coming in. Nvidia is starting to catch a bid. Apple's at the highs of the chart, still surging up. Microsoft seeing some distribution, but acting well. Meta's trying to push up some more. Some weakness is starting to creep into the Russell, likely the KRE. Microsoft's coming down now, guys, so that's going to help our short. So markets are starting to look a little bit tired off of that initial buy the dip momentum. Kind of what we saw yesterday. Russell is rolling over here, guys, so pay attention to the IWM because that is starting to fall. It is holding up right now, but if it goes negative, that's not a good sign. Let's take a look at some of those banks. FRC is up still. Nicely on the section. This is actually putting in some bullish consolidation, but I'd be very cautious trying to buy these banks. The spiders are starting to roll, but still holding up. Still holding up. I'll have to give it that. You can't, there's clear strength. But the KRE is starting to weaken a little bit more now. So now Apple's starting to weaken, guys. Apple's starting to weaken. McDonald's is having a surge. To the upside, Crocs is coming lower. The next level on Crocs that I would consider going long. I'd go long Crocs around the pierce of 116. A pierce of 116. Let's start accumulating. Meta's starting to roll over a little bit harder now. Let's take a look at Meta. Clear resistance at this 241 level. Definitely resistance there. Potential bearish consolidation coming in on Nvidia here. Nvidia is forming a nice little bear flag pattern. This is a little bit bearish. We'll see if it holds up. SMH has caught a bid here. Likely Micron's caught a bid. Yep, Micron's caught a bid. So Crocs is making a new low here. Crocs is making a new low. KRE is starting to fall, guys. KRE regionals are starting to fall a little bit sharper now. And that's the yield market moving up on us. So regional banks are clearly under pressure. Nat Gas is still trying to hold up. Microsoft is still trying to hold up. So is Apple and Tesla. Tesla's hitting a little bit of resistance here on an hourly chart basis. So Meta is starting to see a little bit more weakness from the highs. Just got some breaking news that Jerry Springer just died. Jerry Springer. Spiders are softening up a bit. Spiders are seeing a little bit of minor weakness. Nothing crazy though. Nothing crazy. So Meta is seeing a little more weakness. Apple's still pushing up, so this market's not going to fall unless Apple starts to weaken up here. But it's still holding up. So the dollar's starting to create a little bit of a bid here. We'll see if it starts to perk up a little bit more. Markets seem to want to just maybe float and grind, but the 2-year yield is perking up, so definitely be mindful that the 2-year yield is starting to move up here. It's above 4% again on the 2-year. Even the long end yields are starting to surge. So that should help the dollar with yields moving back up. Meta is starting to fall a little bit sharper here, guys. Some profit taking coming in on Meta. So the IWM is seeing a little bit of weakness. Qs are still holding up well because of Apple and Microsoft alone. Definitely interesting to see them pushing up. So Microsoft is pushing up some more. Pac West, so the regional is rolling over pretty sharply here. It's now down 4.5%. And you're seeing FRC holding up. A little bit of an interesting divergence. The healthcare ETF, I do have a long trade on XLV that I might be interested in. But this is all bearish. So the level is much lower. You can see we're hitting that daily 200. But I actually like the Pierce of 130, around 129.59. That's probably the level that I like healthcare at. So I'll keep an eye on healthcare. But this is a pretty big sector, guys, so we have to be mindful of that. Very big sector. I think it was the second biggest sector weighting. Now I think it's the third behind financials, but unfortunately natural gas just went negative on us. JP Morgan's catching a bid here. Silver softening a little bit, so is gold. Home builders are acting well. It's now that 10:30 time frame. I'll set the parameters for this Microsoft trade. Basically, we've closed quite a few winners today, so congrats on those profits. But I'm willing to hold this overnight. Microsoft's one of the more expensive mega cap companies now, trading alongside kind of Nvidia. But next ad level on Microsoft will be around 302.30, and then a pierce of this 303, and that would be only a 4-6 position, and then 304 would be the next level. But again, I am confident holding this one overnight. No one's going to buy out Microsoft, other than maybe Saudi Aramco. But that's not going to happen. But again, I'm still looking for a move down in Microsoft to these pivots, back to about 299, 300. So I'm going to be a little bit greedy and hold this one because there's a little less risk in this particular stock to hold. But that's the parameters, and congrats on the wins today, and we'll just see how the rest of the markets progress. But I'm seeing weakness in these semis, so just be mindful of that. When you see weakness in the leading semis like Nvidia trying to break this potential bear flag, that is not a good sign. It actually looks like it wants to fill this gap, Nvidia. So we're talking about a potential move down additionally of about 1.7. That would be pretty drastic, and that would have to, in order for Nvidia to hit that, that would have to cause the Qs and the spiders to at least sell off a little bit more. But you never know. We saw that 12 p.m. time frame hit yesterday where the markets just absolutely reversed on a dime from the highs. Obviously, they are holding up right now and trying to build a base to move higher, but we'll see if that price action lasts. On that note, thanks you all for tuning in, and we'll see you on the charts tomorrow.